Yes, Hickok 45, your internet shooting companion, coming to you from the beautiful hills of Tennessee. Yes, the fall feeling hills of Tennessee, home of Alvin York, Davy Crockett, and all sorts of well known people. Yes, glad you're here and enjoying the air that's not quite as humid. Not a bad day. I tell you, it is not a bad day today. We are here the week of course, September the 7th. Cannot believe we're moving into the fall. Unbelievable. I see leaves all around already. Mostly from leaves that dry up. If you're not familiar with this part of the country, the August and then September, you get leaves falling out of the trees, off the limbs, yes, onto the ground. And yeah, well, I mean, some of it's seasonal. Some trees do turn early. Poplar trees, tulip poplars, the Tennessee state tree, does throw off some leaves pretty early on. Some will turn yellow in August and fall. But a lot of it's just the dryness. It's been so dry, and so you get more leaves, falling just from that. Not that the tree woke up and said, "Huh, it's autumn," necessarily. Especially in August, it's just kind of hot and dry, and you start to lose some leaves. But I'm not a botanist. I might look like one. Probably look like a lot of weird things, don't I? What do I have out here today? Can you tell? If you've not read the description yet, it is the Redhawk. Again, I'm pretty negligent about getting this firearm out. 44 Magnum, Ruger Redhawk. And a lot of you are huge Ruger fans, bigger than I am. And I have several Rugers. Some I really like this, the Security 6, Police Security 6, or whichever one I have, the 357, Vaquero, and others, GP100. I've got some of the classic Rugers, Blackhawk, the old style Blackhawk, yeah, and they make nice firearms. They don't go back in, my snobbery coming out, they don't go back into the 1800s or anything. That's the thing that is always so appealing to me with the Colt and the Smith & Wesson. Smith & Wesson, they were making revolvers in the 1850s, and then Colt in 1840s. Yeah, what the Patterson, and I mean, just they go back like over 100 years, or at least 100 years before Ruger, came out with firearms, and so there's just so much history there. But yeah, Rugers are great guns, and in this one I can shoot about anything. Man, maybe I just hadn't shot a 44 Magnum for a couple of weeks. What was I shooting? Some Steinel, and yeah, they were pretty stout. Felt pretty stout. This partly the grip is different on the Ruger Redhawk. I've never put a larger grip on it. I like the looks of those. Those are the stock grips. And nice piece of wood. And one of the issues I have with Rugers, some of them, are the grips. They're a little bit funky, I think. Some of those with rubber and wood, I'm not that fond of them. But these are kind of nice, and I wasn't planning to get into some sort of competition with this revolver every weekend. So I'm just gonna leave those on there. Although they feel good. So I'm not sure what sorts of grips would absorb more recoil. Obviously some rubber ones maybe, but I'm just going to leave those on there. Maybe I'm just being wimpy today. That felt harsh almost. Pretty cool revolver. Big old 44. I bought that from my brother-in-law years ago. Wow. Oh, probably... Well, no, you could kind of date it by one of the videos we did. Early video, not even high resolution, I think maybe, was comparing this and my Model 29 and maybe something else, and I had the box for this out, and I think the price the price, I think, was on the box or in the box and all this kind of thing, and just an old video, and that was probably, well, I thinking I bought this before we started doing videos. I don't know, year 2000 or who knows when, 90s, something in the 90s. So yeah, it's shown up in a few videos. In fact, we did I think, as I recall, we did a big game hunt with this, and I think I shot it as well, if not better, than any handgun I have used in big game hunts. Unless you're brand new, you know what a big game hunt is, right? You're on my range. I have to look it up. I think I hit almost every time with it, and with like one miss or something. Unbelievable. I mean, it was unbelievable to me because you got to really focus on the big game hunts. Those targets are not small. You're not shooting at 11-ounce can, 12-ounce cans, or anything like that. But they are across the hill. The nearest one is 50 yards, and I'm out to like 75 yards, and it's easy to miss. You know, I could go over there and do that right now with this gun, same ammo, and I might miss 10 times or 20. I don't know. You just, some days you're not quite as, you got to be on your steadiest when you're doing that. So simple to miss, as you all know that shoot handguns. With a rifle, if your sights are on and you know where to hold, you normally should not have a really bad day, unless you are shooting at peanuts at 100 yards or something. But if you're shooting average sized targets with a rifle, you shouldn't have some crazy day where you just can't hit anything. But with a handgun, I tell you what, you could miss the barn door if you're not you're not on. But yep, 44 mag. And oh, speaking of guns, all these people that help us out provide things for us, actually, really. Some product of some sort, right? Bud's Gun Shop, yeah, couldn't do without them. Been to 3 of their brick and mortar stores this week, or this past 3 weeks. And in Silencer Central, a wonderful company, and they just really take care of us. They are a great people, not just their products, but then of course too the Sonoran Desert Institute. Yeah, I think I might need to get a shot of caffeine today or something before I start. Can I go back to the house and get a cup of coffee? But yeah, the SDI. Lots of information on firearms, and as I always say, you can get yourself on the road to the world of gunsmithing, right? So you can learn a lot about firearms there. And then of course, I'll just go ahead and say that Alabama Holster is one of my favorite holster makers, maybe my very favorite holster maker. There's one of them right on me, and the other one's on my other hip. You know what I'm carrying too? You see that little baby? Yeah, been carrying that thing. You're not surprised, I'm sure. And but yeah, great little Kydex holsters, concealment holsters. And all that worked out great. I got this Bodyguard 2.0 that week. I got the grips from Talon Grip, all in about 1 day or 2 days, seems like. Alabama Holster sent a holster, and got the grips, and then the gun came in. I shot it. Wow, this is cool. I put it in the holster and everything, and I put the grips on it and put it in my pocket. And I thought, man, I like this thing, And actually, I didn't put the grips on the one that came, that I borrowed from Bud's. I put the grips on the one I bought like the next day, this one, because I decided I liked it. But anyway, all that came together there just in a few days. I talk about that occasionally, how strange it is, partly because there's so many innovations coming out. Engineers, gun designers, as we speak, as you listen, as I ramble, are possibly sitting or standing in their work area, their design shop, and they are working on firearms, something that is maybe smaller than is out there yet, but yet still shootable. Or there's something that's like a lot of the little guns that are out there, but it'll hold an extra round. or I don't know what they're working on right now. I don't know how much further we can go. We just about topped out or bottomed out, however you want to look at it, in terms of the smallest firearm that you can put your hands on that feels good, is shootable, holds a reasonable amount of ammunition, is light, I mean, all those factors are being worked on right constantly and have been. And that's why you compare this fire. Of course, this is a 380, it's a little different, but I mean, there's 9mm, just like it, not much bigger. If you go back 20, 30 years and look at the very best small guns, deep concealment guns, pocket guns, whatever you want to call them, and we thought they were great at the time, and they still are fine and they still work. But so much has been accomplished in the world of design, hasn't it? It's just amazing. It really is. Who'd have thunk it? Who'd have thunk it? What's next? But I mean, there is a point where maybe diminishing returns, or there's just not much else you can do. And that's the way it is. It's not just me saying that, and then in 3 years there'll be something twice as good as this, or small, twice as light, twice as small, holds 3 times the ammo. I mean, really, the physics only allow so much. And that's kind of the way it is with everything, isn't it? With cars, you name it. Think about how far we've come from a Model T, or even earlier cars, but the Model T or something, or 1931 Ford, or whatever you want to look at and think about. The engine, the technology of the engine, electronics, of course, the speed, the comfort, I want to say the shock absorption, and all that kind of thing, and speed, and how easily a modern new car will cruise down the highway at 80, 70, 90, and you just don't even feel like you're moving hardly. I mean, it's just, talk about a leap. Well, same deal. We're probably not going to be leaping like that again with cars, unless we get into some flying car or some spaceship, something really crazy. I mean, there's only so much you can do. Once you get to the point where you're not bumping along, in the loud Model T and whatever, bouncing along, and it'll only go whatever they would travel, 15 miles an hour or 20 or something. I don't know. Once you get up to where a car will easily cruise down the highway, again, 70, 80, 90 miles an hour, and you just almost don't feel the speed, and your air conditioning, and you got your radio and satellite radio and GPS, and the darn things that drive themselves virtually, right? Mine just about does, and all that. Well, there's not another giant leap from that, really, because we're still limited as human beings. I mean, there's only so much I can do. I don't need to be driving down the road 150 for one thing, and with everybody around me doing the same thing. As humans, we're not really able to handle much more than 70 or 80 miles an hour, the crowded roads and all that, even if a car would do that easily. So I mean, you do get to a point where the improvements are just little bitty steps, aren't they? Little bitty steps. And yeah, okay. How come I got off on all that? I wish y'all would quit. If y'all would quit listening, I'd quit talking so much. What do you want me to shoot next? How about this gun? Since that's what I brought out here. I've got to shoot something kinder and gentler. Do I have some 44 special? Yeah, that's 44 special. Okay, maybe that's what I should have done. Broken in more slowly. Fired some 44. Let's load those two. 44 special. I put empties into my car, my bullet case here sometime. Okay, 44 special. All right. Oh yeah. And you know what I always have to do when I have specials in is listen to them cruise across the holler right into Clyde. Yeah, and right into the gong. think that was low. Yep, that first one was low. As I always say, I just have two problems: elevation and windage. Kaplooey. 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 A blank. Yep. Yeah, y'all know from the difference with a Ruger, you got a big beefy cylinder. You see, if that tells you anything, if you've been around these things very much, it does, doesn't you? Yeah, those are big 44 Magnum case heads, but you see a lot of metal, don't you? Whereas some other firearms, like a Smith & Wesson Model 29 or whatever, the cylinder's not quite as beefy. Okay, I mean, it's fine, but it's not quite as beefy. That's why there are special loads that you're allowed to use in a Ruger that are not recommended for a Smith & Wesson usually. Okay, at least an end frame or something. Now, if you could get them in an X frame or something, it's another matter, right? Good old Ruger. Gosh, sweet. Oh yeah, well, it was great to see everybody in Sevierville Saturday. I told you there'd probably be some people there, didn't I? And then I would probably have met them by the time I talked to you again. Well, yep, as I talked to you again, I did meet them. I did meet a bunch of you all at Sevierville, at Bud's, and it was great. It was great. Appreciate you coming out. And to all the 3 meet and greets, at the various locations in Greenville, Kentucky, and Lexington, and then Sevierville. Saw somebody for the second time, maybe third, somebody, I don't know. So it's interesting to see people as you get older, and come back. I don't know why you'd come back to see me, but it was good. And actually, I think I behaved partly because I didn't really have the time. I guess I wasn't hanging around there all day, but I didn't buy anything, did I? In Sevierville at the Bud's, I guess. Bought a knife at the knife shop. Bought a hatchet, rather. Really, it's one to teach my grandson on, and we'll call it his. But yeah, but met a bunch of great people at all the locations, all the views. It was wonderful. And I took a bunch of the targets from the Sunday videos that had been piling up. And if you were there, you know, at each one of the meet and greets, I gave out a bunch of those. They're already dated and signed and everything, and some of them from several years back even, and gave those out. I took a bunch of them to Sevierville. I think almost everybody that wanted one got one there. Like, again, why would you want one of those? But anyway, I do save them and then take them to a meet and greet. I should throw a couple in the car, keep a couple in my car, really, as I run into people, like some teenager or whoever, somebody that looks deserving and would actually want something like that. So there you go. But that was great. That was great seeing everybody. Had a great weekend over there. Spent 2 or 3 days over there in East Tennessee with my grandson. Hassled him for 2 or 3 days. That was fun. We went to the gym mine in Pigeon Forge and mine gyms. If you've ever been to one of those, you got a big kick out of that. And where else? To the Wonder Works, you know, the house that's upside down or building. I'd never been in that. I just thought it was kind of like a Ripley's, believe it or not, that you go in and you're in a house that's upside down, and that's the thing, that's the thrill. They went to all the trouble to build a big house, mansion kind of thing, upside down. And that's what would amaze you. The table's on the ceiling and the coffee cups are on the table, or whatever they had done. You know, they do things like that when they put their minds to it. And you would discover what it's like to walk around on the ceiling of a big house. I thought that was probably it, the novelty. But anyway, he had been there before, and it's an entertainment center. Wow, all these games, kind of like a science center. What it's like. It was a pretty interesting place. I've never been there. There's so many tourist attractions, aren't there, in a place like that? Gatlinburg, Pigeon Forge, Sevierville, that area. and just one after another, and it's always something. And it looks gimmicky, and it's something dramatic to get you in there and pay your money and all that. And but sometimes they're kind of interesting. There's something worthwhile. There's a lot of people go to places like that, take their kids and all that, and so there are actually interesting uh, attractions, and some even educational. So I hate to be such a cynic about everything. In fact, my wife and I, was John with us? And I don't think so. We went through several years back the Titanic thing over there. That was pretty interesting too. So who knows? You never know what you'll encounter. Can I shoot this again? Let's get some Magnums back out here. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to quit talking like a wimp and get out some of these Underwood extreme penetrators. Because this is a Ruger. I should be able to fire anything in it, right? Yes. And to make it easier to shoot, I'm going to put some Ballistol on it. Just kidding. I'll do that after I shoot. Again, these are extreme penetrators. How's that for a wicked bullet? Yep. Am I allowed to show a bullet on TV? Speaking of that, I'm still working on videos. I didn't get as much done this week. I don't know how much time I have left, if any, but I'm still trying to save videos, and it's really a walk back through history, through time. I tell you, it's interesting. It really is. Seeing videos I had totally forgotten about, and the ones I'm doing or trying to do, I have to in a lot of cases go through big chunks and lots of the video to find the infraction, So I'm forced to listen to myself or see the guns, more than maybe I even want to. But it's interesting. It really is. Just so many cool guns. I should be ashamed of myself for having so many cool firearms. I really don't deserve it. But at least I share them. I just incredible. I look at a video that's going up. Well, you've probably already seen it. Yeah, when I speak to you right now on Sunday. Yeah, right now on the 7th. Right. Hopefully you saw it. That brings up a good point. I hope you do. Even if you're not a muzzle loader fan, if you hate black powder or whatever, I saw that's part of what's in my mind as I'm going through some of these. Wow, what a video! I wish that one had 6 million views like some of the others do. I wish that one had 1 million views or 500. Not because we make a few more pennies on it. I just wish more people had seen it and would enjoy. And people are always seeing them. That never ends really. But I mean, it's just some of the neatest. There's so many neat guns out there. I mean, I guess I'm being egotistical. Like the guns I have bought or borrowed that I use or we have done videos with are the best. Well, I'm not saying that, except we have done videos with so many of the iconic firearms, and they are iconic, whether they're in my hands or somebody else's. Whether it's an old World War I, 1911, it's a musket, from the Civil War, whatever it is. They're just beautiful things. They really are. And the video I'm talking about from this week, the last muzzle loader I would ever give up. As I watched that myself, wow, that is a table, and I have others, but that is just quite a table, and those are so neat. I didn't make them. Again, I'm not patting myself on the back. I didn't make them. I couldn't make one. I couldn't even put a kit together probably, but to have those and shoot those and show them and share them and just and study them and load them and understand how they work and shoot them, and it's just such a privilege. It really is. It's an honor. It really is. That's a better word, because 2 or 3 of those were used, no doubt, in the American Civil War and maybe elsewhere, and they're just still shootable and in pretty good shape. I guess I just wish people had more appreciation, or I wish more people had an appreciation for that kind of thing. And I know a lot of you do, and a lot of you, as I speak, you have seen that video, and the others of you are feeling guilty, and you'll go back and look at it. You're feeling like, oh no, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to offend you, Hickok, I haven't seen it. Don't expect anything to be recommended anymore. You got to go find it. All right, let's put, an extreme penetrator. I was about to shoot the paper. Why not? Let's penetrate extremely. Yeah, bullseye. And here's a jug I'm going to shoot. Arizona tea or something. I bet it'll go through it. Yep. I saw it hitting the dust down there in the hollow. I don't know if y'all can see that. And let's penetrate extremely that 2-liter right there. Let's penetrate extremely Clyde. Yeah, got there fast, didn't it? See if it'll get to the gong. So I have one left. I'm going to put it through the propane tank. Killed him. Looked like a Hollywood death. He just fell over slowly there. All right. There's a topic. Hollywood shooting and death and all that in the movies. Yeah, I need to make a note of that. That'd be a good talks topic. Yeah. Which, by the way, don't forget the Hickok 45 Talks channel. I did a few more of those just a couple days ago. Yeah, so. And what I was talking about before too, with the videos that you just, if you like firearms, I get engrossed in some of those videos. Despite the person is talking, I get engrossed in seeing those guns again. And I find myself doing the same thing on the Hickok 45 Clips channel, as I try to keep up with what John's posted each morning and at least see what he's posted, so I'll understand what people are saying if I see a comment. But yeah, and it's the same thing, pulling out some cool stuff there. So yeah, what else? Anything else of interest? Well, again, it's good to see you all, and yeah, you young people, I'm gonna, I mean, the more I see, the longer I live, and the more I read, the more I see from real people, real experts. It is really becoming so obvious that a lot of our health, especially metabolic health, which is a lot of the source for so many of today's diseases, just poor metabolic health. Too many of us still think that, I think we have this notion that if I get, again, I'm not a doctor, if I get some kind of cancer, or I get diabetes, or just all the different things we get, even Alzheimer's, all these things that people get, dementia, too many of us, I think, are still of the notion, we just know that is some, quote unquote, we know that is something that, well, my great granddaddy had that, or that's just I must have inherited that propensity, that inclination towards cancer or dementia or something from my dad or someone else who had it, or same with diabetes and all this kind of thing, type 2 diabetes. And yeah, you sort of did, but the evidence is becoming more and more clear, and that's why Kennedy is big on this kick, really, and I'm glad to see him so outspoken about this. He doesn't seem to be afraid of big pharma, big food, or anything. I hope he survives. But yeah, we sort of do inherit it, but it's not a gene, a chromosome or something. It's because we have the same lifestyle and eat the same junk our parents ate maybe, okay? Or their neighbors are, you know what, I mean, it might be kind of in the family, because look around at your family. What does your family eat? What did they eat? You know, did they move around ever, exercise, and all that kind of thing? So, but anyway, it is, it's just more and more clear, becoming more and more clear. You just need to move around. Get out and move around. Young people, old people, middle-aged people, get out and move. And it's just, if you're leading a sedentary life, and especially eating junk on top of that, refined foods and all that kind of thing, there's no telling what's cooking in you, and you don't even know it. I know from my reading, one of the things, what's it called, fatty liver and all those kinds of things, and visceral fat. So a lot of very unhealthy things don't necessarily show up as obesity. Just because you're relatively thin, you could still have fatty liver and some of this stuff and be very unhealthy. They've discovered that, in other countries where people maybe tend to eat a little better, but they're not as obese as people are in this country. But they still have a lot of those issues with fatty liver and diabetes coming on and all that sort of thing. So anyway, just keep yourself healthy. Get out and move around, and get off the screens. Make yourself get off the screens a good portion of the day. Get outside. You don't have to run and go to the gym, work out for 3 hours. My mother-in-law's 98. She probably hadn't worked out a day in her life, okay? And she still can get in the car and drive downtown to eat where she lives, that kind of thing, 98. And everybody's different, but yeah, you don't have to. I don't think, and I think the evidence proves that. Just get off the couch and move, walk, and eat well. It's less than 90% of it. So anyway, so take care of yourself, young people, and it helps you mentally so much. That's one of the things. If you find yourself in a rut, or just feeling down a lot, not necessarily clinically depressed, but you just can't get motivated, can't get moving, well, try eating better, and then try getting out and walk, run, a little jog or whatever, but at least walk. And when I say at least, I mean there are lots of people that will tell you walking is better than running and doing all the other stuff. It's just move. I mean, go out and walk for an hour, and you'll see what I mean if you never do that. I'm doing that almost every day now, and longer than an hour. And you'll see, okay, yeah, it's a little bit of a workout, Yeah, sure, walking across the room or walking a couple hundred yards is nothing that's that big a deal. It beats sitting down. But get out and move, get out and walk, and get you some, like I don't know, my earphones, Bluetooth, and listen to podcasts, music, or whatever. Just do it. You'll feel better. All right. You'll also feel better if you can shoot some. Okay? What do you want me to shoot? Let's shoot some 240 grain. Something. I don't know. Shoot some with a Steinel before I get you out of here. Again, posting everything on Rumble. Yep. I've been good this week. Got it all over there. Okay. And everything on YouTube. One thing I've been meaning to talk about, that people don't really understand. There are folks, knowing the trouble everybody's having, we're having, with YouTube. The advice to just leave YouTube, kind of thing. And a lot of people, again, don't understand. It's easy to leave and put everything somewhere else, which we do, but there's just not many people there. You've got different aspects of that. It's no way to run a business. You basically don't have a business if you're somewhere other than YouTube, or hardly. And the other thing is, if you're doing something you'd like for people to see or to learn from or whatever, not many people are going to hear it, see it, or whatever it is. It's even with all the issues on YouTube, just so many more people are going to see it. You know, now it may come a time when we all do have to leave YouTube because it's just not working out. It's just too limited. We are limited too much. And maybe everybody that does firearms videos, it's okay, forget it, YouTube, we're on Rumble or we're wherever we are, and that's it. And in that case, it would be different if everybody did it at the same time, because then everybody would know. If you want to see a gun video, it's on Rumble or it's on wherever, some other place, and yeah, that'd be a little bit better. Okay, but it's easy to say, just leave. Or post on X, post on Twitter. Well, that's not really a video platform. All right. But we'll see what happens. All right. Nothing like a little bowling to wrap up the day. Don't tell me I missed it. Did I miss that bowling pin? Oh, good evening. I just felt like doing that. I felt like doing this too. Yeah, it's fun to get up close to something occasionally and pop it. And I just fired 5, didn't I? And you can do that with a bowling pin or with paper. I got a bullet left. I'll prove it. Let's get the cylinder going the right way. All right. Let's just put one right through Alabama. How's that? Alabama holster. Oh, and the muzzle blast tore the target. I actually hit it right here. There's a hole here, but the blast from the cylinder ripped that out, right? You've seen our video on that. All right. How not to shoot a revolver, it's called, I think. So, yep, I feel better now. I don't feel quite as much guilt now that I've gotten my old Redhawk out and limbered it up a little bit. And what I always do, you don't see me doing this because y'all leave early for some reason, but what I do before I pack things up, I take my gun, whatever it is I was shooting, put some ballistol in the cylinder. Can't really see what I'm doing on it very well, but that's okay. You know, you trust me that I'm not lying to you, right? Yeah, and there we go, and I spray it, the barrel, and it's kind of a why not. Wouldn't have to do it. It's just I'll be cleaning this firearm in about whatever 30 minutes or an hour, and so it's perfect to do that, so that it will just soak, let it perk a little bit, let it soak in. Then it is really easy to clean. I like to put it back in my gun sock if it's just, ballistol dripping off of it there, but I use it liberally. There we go. Put it back in the sock, and that's where I keep my firearms, as you know from the video we did on that, how to store firearms or whatever it is. Yeah, I take it back and I clean her up. So that's pretty cool. And it's always a good day when you shoot a 44 Magnum, isn't it? So September's going to be cranking on by. Before you know it, I won't be complaining out here about it being humid, will I? I'll be in long sleeves. I'll be in a jacket. I'll be sniffling. It'll be chilly. But I've survived that. We're at what, 245. That's I don't think I've missed one. I keep telling you that I will probably, and that I will just do something on my phone if nothing else, a short message, and that'll be a Sunday video, so you'll know I'm still around or something, or maybe it'll be posted already and scheduled to be live, and I may be underground by the time it goes live or something, or cremated or something. But yeah, 245. That's just incredible how the weeks fly by. Seems like I just started doing the Sunday videos. 245. You know, we'll be coming up on what for about 5 years. Yeah. What's the math on that? 5 times 52. So, yeah, won't be all that long. We'll have maybe I'll have a 5-year celebration. Yeah. I'll do a 2-hour Sunday video. How's that? So I enjoy coming out and shooting. You can probably tell it, and that's the one thing I'm not fixing. If you, well, I won't get to every video anyway, and that's one of the things I definitely am skipping because I can't. They're more difficult to fix anyway. The target is part of the problem with .coms on it and stuff. The old targets and former ones, and you know, it's just like right in the video the whole time up close, and it would, you know, I'm just skipping over those. I don't know if I'll have time to even start trying to save any of those, and so we'll see how that goes. But the Sunday videos, if there's a Sunday video and you're dying to see again, you better look at it because they will be at risk along with anything else that not edited. Okay, but like I said, we will repost anything. I don't know how long it'll take for that to happen, years maybe on some of it, but we'll get it back up on YouTube, and of course they're all over on Rumble. Everything is, and I don't expect to have any problems on Rumble. Yeah, I really don't. And it's just they're more of a mindset. You know, they're kind of like an alternative, free speech alternative kind of place, and they understand firearms. They're not as worried about it, and that's the frustrating thing about. You know, I'll let you go here a second, but that is one of the frustrating things about firearms. It's an area of frustration for anybody that's a firearms enthusiast. It has been an area of frustration for me. I don't lose sleep over it, but since the 1970 or something, since the very earliest days when I got more serious about shooting, the thing we all experience pretty much is just this perplexing thing where people that are not into firearms, they're not into history, they don't understand the Second Amendment really. They think it's about deer hunting or something, or self-defense, and they couldn't tell you you know, who the founding fathers were, couldn't name 2 of them. They just don't understand. They think that's conspiracy, tinfoil hat stuff when you talk about protecting ourselves against a tyrannical government and that kind of thing. They haven't studied world history. You would think anybody would understand, if you're older than 30, human nature, and then study human nature and history and what has happened, and how power corrupts. Look right here at home, pandemic, you know, and just people in authority seem to want more authority and more power, and they seize that power and take advantage of it, and it's just a protection. It's a protection. I think I talk about that in one of the talks videos I'll be posting, but it's just one of those things that I talk about, how it's immeasurable. You know, the benefits of the Second Amendment. You can't measure the benefits. You know, things that don't happen, we can never, you know, measure. We can only measure things that do happen, and so that's where the focus goes. You know, that sort of thing. But anyway, yeah, that is one of the areas of frustration, that people just don't seem to understand firearms, and they have this notion that people with firearms are just kind of strange, you know, and a lot of those people are working in the big tech companies. That's where I was going with that. You know, they just don't really get it. You know, thinking, you know, for example, you're not allowed to take off or put on a suppressor in a video. Like, okay, duh. taking apart a firearm to show how it works or something. I don't know, even field stripping. We go ahead and field strip them, but I don't know, we'll probably have, a bunch of them demonetized for that reason, or maybe even taken down. I don't, just silly things like that. Now you can understand, I don't want people throwing videos out there right and left that young people are going to be watching all the time. If you've got people like, I don't know, shooting other people in videos or whatever they're doing, or playing Russian roulette. I mean, there's a limit. We do have limits. I'm not for absolute freedom, really. There are kids involved. I mean, there are certain areas of violence. Yeah, if I had my own, as much as we talk about freedom, here I'm going at 2 hours, but as much as we all respect freedom and we talk about it, and freedom of speech and everything, if I had my own tech company, if I could snap my fingers, wave a wand, and I owned, Facebook or Twitter, one of these, YouTube or whatever, well, as I'm sitting around with my top executives I have appointed, might be some of you, okay, folks, what do we think? Now, what are the things we probably do need to limit on the platform? Terms of service. Let's talk about our terms of service. It won't involve putting on a suppressor or field stripping a Glock to show how you clean one properly and keep it safe. That will not be a problem in our terms of service. So, but think about it. As an intelligent human being, you've got kids, and we think about society. Okay, let's not allow anything, if we can prevent it without being too intrusive or obtrusive. Violent acts, okay, and we have to talk about what that involved. Maybe porn, right, on this platform. Anybody inciting violence, when it's clearly inciting violence, not just, our notion of being triggered or something like that. I mean, there would be 4 or 5 things that would be, I think hardly anybody would disagree with. We'd rather not have that probably on the platform. But then beyond that, if you're offended, just don't watch, kind of thing. So I don't know, what do you think? I mean, would you just have no restrictions whatsoever, period? I think most of you probably wouldn't want that. I don't think that would be ideal, would it? But anyway, I digress. I digress excessively, actually, don't I? So it's been fun talking to you. Again, enjoyed the meet and greets, enjoyed meeting you. And, and I'll see you out there on the trail. I run into y'all all around town, and just I ran into some of you this morning getting my car serviced at a place I hadn't been before, dealership. And so just be sure you say hi, and I might say hi back, or I might say, no, I am not Hickok 45. That's my twin brother. Yeah, I've said that before. I'll talk to you later. Life is good.